Hey, everybody, welcome to another session of Stories from the Edge. I am your host, Esco, and the man of the hour, the man who's going to share his stories with us, Ed Soo, who is on with me as well. Ed, love listening to how you have, taken what you have and made the best sales decisions or sales guide decisions to get in front of your customers. What kind of story are you going to share with us today where you're demonstrating how you take advantage of the things you have?
Today's story is kind of an interesting one. It is titled The Six Degrees of Separation, basically led by Kevin Bacon a long while back, right? But the six degrees to separation to three. How do you
Oh,
cut that in half?
so you can be better than Kevin Bacon. I love this.
Absolutely.
All right, lay it down for
I
lay it
bring
down for me.
So one of the things I wanted to do years ago was start my own consulting business.
Okay.
Multiple years in the industry has really given me sort of the itch.
Hmm.
And so I had to scratch that itch, and I wanted to get started with this consulting business. And I just had an IPO with the company, and I decided after 3 years it was time to kind of embark on my goal and my quest. So
Right.
I left it, and I said, "Well, gee, how do you start a consulting company?" So I really had to struggle with like how do you build qualifications, networks, contacts, things of that nature. So I'm going to take you back in time to March of 2000.
Okay.
Right in the middle of my startup. This is during the height of .com, right? The
Hmm.
craziness, absolute
Right.
crazy. Big buzz, big money, big business.
A lot of money floating around.
And I had this love of cars from Alphas, Fiats, and the like, right? And I was always dabbling with them. And my wife finally just said, "You know what? It's time. Go buy your Ferrari." I go, "Oh boy, this is kind of cool." And first off, you can never buy a Ferrari unless your wife gives you permission, right?
Fact.
Because otherwise, it'll never get in the garage. So she gave me permission. We went to the dealership in San Francisco and walked in the dealer floor. I looked at a used Ferrari, big V12, and my wife goes, "No." She turned around, she goes, pointed, and she goes, "That one." It was a 360 Molten, a two-seater, really, really nice looking sports car, right?
Right.
Fast looking, everything. I looked at it, I go, that's not me. I don't know if I can do that. So we walked out. I'm still kind of noodling on it. And I'm in Singapore on business. 5 o'clock in the back of a taxi at a stoplight.
Okay.
And up rolls up right next to me a brand spanking new 360 Moldena. Rosso Corsa, racing red, right? I looked at that and I rolled the window down, very excited. I looked at it. I said, "Wow, looks better in person on the street." And I looked at the owner and I waved my hand. He looks over and I hold my thumb up. I go, "Nice car." And then I did a circular motion. I like spin the wheels. Let's go, right? I want to see you take off. He was very polite. He just nodded his head. Light turned green and he took off like a scalded cat, right? Off 3 gears, wailing away. And I stuck my head out of the taxi window and I yelled out, "I want that car." So, very excited, flew home, went to the Ferrari dealership and said, "I'm ready. I want to buy the car." He goes, "Great. 20% down, 5-year wait." I'm going like, "What?" He goes, "You got a problem with the 20%?" I said, "No, no, 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 no. It's the 5-year wait. I have a problem.
Yeah.
I want it now." He goes,
Right.
"Unfortunately, it's high demand, low volume. So everybody's put in their orders and there's a 5-year wait now. So there's nothing we can do except maybe sell you a used Ferrari." I said, "Used is not in my vocabulary. I want a
Mama
new
said
one."
no.
And he goes, "Look, call any dealer you want in the United States. They'll tell you the same thing."
Right.
So I called 5 dealers, got the same answer. So I called my mechanic, Mario. I said, "Mario, you won't believe this. He's been my mechanic for like 30 years." And I told him, he goes, "Let me call my cousin." I go, "Who's your cousin?" He goes, "Oscar." I go,
Oscar.
"What does Oscar do?" He goes, "Well, he used to sell Ferraris in Uruguay." He goes, "But I can ask him." So a week later, Mario calls. He goes, "Unfortunately, same thing. High demand, low volume, nothing we can do."
Right.
So I'm a little crestfallen. I told my wife, she just kind of laughs. She goes, "Ha ha, you can't get your car." And so I'm in Milano on business a few weeks later, and I ring up Mario. I said, "Ciao, Mario. I'm in Milano." He goes, "I'm in Torino." I said, "What are you doing here?" He goes, "I'm here with Computer Ed." Computer Ed's a nuclear physicist.
Oh,
dry wit, has a forehead like this, right? Big forehead, really
Oh.
big guy, nuclear physicist. And Oscar, I said, what are you guys doing here? He goes, we're pitching an industrialist for funding for Ed's idea. I said, when is the pitch? He goes, tomorrow. I said, what are you doing tonight? He goes, nothing. I said, hey, let's have dinner in Milano. I'll meet you. I gave him the restaurant. We met there. I'm sitting next to computer Ed, and I see a big, thick 3-ring binder sitting right next to him. I said, Ed, is that your idea? He goes, yeah. This guy has no personality, right? He goes, yeah. I go, well, what is it? He goes, I'm not telling you. I said, oh, come on. He goes, no. I said, all right. I said, tell you what, give me 3 sentences that describes your idea. And if I can't figure out the business model, the value proposition, et cetera, and you go to market, I said, I'll buy dinner. He goes, really? I said, be fair. He goes, okay. So he gave me 3 sentences. We go through dinner. Antipasti, prima pasti. I said, right? We end up, he puts his knife and fork down. He goes, and I said, ion implanter, silicon wafer, manufacturing, production line, impact to the business and quality, et cetera. The ion implanter does the rheostats, et cetera. He goes, yeah. He looked at Mario. He goes, you told him. Mario goes, no, no, no. I said, Ed, it's not that hard. Come on. And I said, who's pitching? Oscar goes, I'm pitching. I said, Oscar, let's try an exercise. Let's order a round of espresso. When the espresso hits the table, I'd like you to do the pitch. And when I'm done with my espresso, you should be done with your pitch. Do you agree? He goes, see. So the espresso hits the table. He starts his pitch. I do the little ritual stirring, the lemon rind, and then I sip my espresso. I said, you know, Oscar, I didn't get it. I didn't understand the value proposition. And if I were an investor, I would say no. He goes, oh, he was crestfallen. I said, would you allow me to do the pitch for you? And he goes, but of course. I said, order another round of espresso. I'll do the same exercise. So I do the pitch.
Great. 2
And,
espressos.
I do the pitch and he goes, I love it. I said, would you like me to teach you how to do the pitch, sentence by sentence? He goes, yes. I said, order a round of port. We'll do it over the port. So we finish it up and he's all excited. He goes, I got it. And I said, great. He goes, and what can I do for you? And I said, well, by this time it's like 1 o'clock in the morning and a brand new 550 Maranello pulls up in front of the restaurant. Rosa Corsa again, racing red. And I go, Oscar, my ask is only make 1 phone call. I don't care who you call. Make 1 phone call on my behalf to help me buy my Ferrari. He goes, done. 2 weeks later, Sunday night, I get a call from Mario. Mario goes, tomorrow, phone call, Italy. I go, Mario, calm down. What are you talking? He goes,
Yeah,
Oscar. He goes, Oscar, calm. He goes, you're going to get a phone call tomorrow, 9 o'clock your time. I go, who? He goes, I don't know. I go, okay. So Monday morning, the phone rings, 9 o'clock. This gentleman speaks somewhat rapidly. And I said, I'm sorry. Could you slow down? He goes, oh, but of course. I am the assistant to the chairman of Ferrari, Signore Luca. I said, Signore Luca de Montezemolo. He goes, see, we like to make available to you your choice. I go, scusi? He goes, choose your Ferrari. I say 360 mold and a silver bar. I go through all the special. He goes, done. And when would you like your Ferrari? I go, 90 days? He goes, done. Your VIN will be as follows. Wiring directions to Monaco. Blah, blah. I'm going through it. We're buttoning up the deal. I'm somewhat giddy. And he goes,
I'd
is
be
there
in
anything
disbelief.
else? Well, he goes, and the assistant goes, is there anything else? I said, can I ask another favor of the chairman? He goes, but of course, ask. I said, can I have another one? He goes, I want 2 Ferraris. I say, see, do it. He goes, and the second one? I said, Rosa Corsa. Went through the same. He goes, belle macchina. Da, 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 da. I go, see. He goes, and when would you like your second one? I said, 9 months. I'll liquidate some shares. I'll be good. So we button up the deal. I hang up. And I'm going, huh. I had permission to buy 1, not 2. What am I going to tell my... So I figured that I'll handle it later. I called Mario. I said, Mario. I said, this is what we're laughing like a couple of school kids. I said, what did Oscar do? He goes, well, he did what you asked. He only called one person. I said, who? He goes, well, he called this guy named Dr. Piero Gancia in San Paulo. I go, and he goes, well, Dr. Gancia is the South America distributor for all Ferraris. However, he has the same limitations like everybody else, except 25 years ago, he introduced a young man to Enzo. Enzo liked the young man and hired him. Over a period of 20, 25 years, the young man took on various jobs at the company. And today, that young man is at, I said, Signore Luca de Montezemolo. He goes, si. So whenever Dr. Gancia asks for a favor, it is granted. As it turns out, the funny story was as soon as the order went to the chairman actually got out of his office and picked my car off the line. He goes, that one, off the line. That goes to Dr. Gancia in San Paulo. So I got my car and I'm going like, huh. Now, how does this relate going to starting a right? So fast forward to 2001, I needed a hook. The hook to talk to customers or prospects was my car. So now, how do I start a conversation? So what I did was I parked my car in front of a high-density C-level restaurant at lunchtime. All the C-levels of Silicon Valley hang out there. It's called Il Fornaio in Palo Alto. So I park my car in front. The jockey comes out and says, hey, we'll park your car. I said, no, here's 20 bucks. Let it sit here. He goes, okay. So I sit in the passenger seat and I'm typing away on my notebook. Eventually, C-levels come out and they know this car is hard to get. So we end up having a conversation. We talk about specifications, blah, blah, blah. And they always ask, so what do you do for a living? I said, I'm a consultant. They go, really? What kind of consulting do you do? I said, well, I can tell you the usual business stuff. I said, but let me tell you the results of my consulting. I reduced the 6 degrees of separation to 3. They're like, what do you mean? I said, let me tell you a story. So I tell them the story, and it's kind of funny because 10 out of 10 chats that I have, 9 out of 10, I get a card. 7 out of 10, I got a meeting. 5 out of 10, 50% hit rate. I got paid engagements. Oh, wow. The car was my hook. I knew where to hang out. And I knew that by telling a story around reducing the complexity of reaching a C-level or a decision maker was as easy as telling a great story. And it turned out really well, where I got all these engagements. It was a lot of fun. So I called my accountant. I said, hey, I want to write off my car as a marketing expense. He goes,
exactly. Yes.
Can't do that.
Why not?
I said, why not? He goes, you have to justify it. I said, well, let me tell you a story. And I'll tell him the story about, and I said, and when I finished, he goes, you would never have gotten those meetings without the car, would you? I said, no. I said, no, I want to write off my car and the $20 that I paid that jockey.
$20 against a Ferrari.
Yeah. So that's the story of developing a hook using a talking point, but then using the story around the talking point to really help people see and understand the power of reducing the degrees of separation to 3. And it helped me really see the value of understanding relationships.
Yeah.
And sharing ideas and concepts. So I've never had more fun. And today that car has 210,000 miles on it.
We'll do it another time, but I want to know what happened to the other one. Ed, thanks for your time today. I appreciate the story and obviously taking advantage of humanity and doing things right by people and having a great conversation to get that human contact going. That's part of what your hook is. I look forward to the next one, and we'll catch everyone next time. Bye, everybody.